Jays have indeed blown it open here in the third.
Well, the Blue Jays have got their hitting shoes on a little bit earlier than they did last year, but they have shown.
Chien-Ming now in the game for the Royals. Kevin Pillar is the batter. A 6-0 Blue Jays lead. And one more bit of all-star news for the Blue Jays. You may be familiar with the final man vote. 5 players selected from each league. Fans vote online and choose the last man on each league's all-star roster. As Pillar hits a screamer into center field, a base hit. And Michael Saunders is one of those 5 for the American League. He is up against Ian Kinsler of the Tigers, Evan Longoria of the Rays, Dustin Pedroia of the Red Sox, and George Springer of the Astros. You can vote for Michael Saunders at bluejays.com/vote or text A4 to 101010. Hashtag Vote Captain Canada. The balloting closes, I believe, Friday afternoon. I think this is the way Steve Delabar got into the All-Star game a few years back, if I'm not mistaken, and a chance for Canada to rally around Michael Saunders.
Is this where Josh Donaldson got in by grapes? Don Cherry was the guy that campaigned so hard for Donaldson. We can do the same for Michael Saunders, and the voting ends Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern time. We got a whole country that watch the Blue Jays every single night, and if you really show your Canadian pride, you can log on and vote for Michael Saunders and send him with the rest of his teammates to the All-Star game. But Michael, very deserving of an All-Star vote, so make sure you vote. You vote at bluejays.com/vote or text A4 to 101010.
And how many times can they vote? Just keep voting.
Many times as you want.
Just keep
as long
rolling.
as your fingers and thumbs
there you go.
Still have energy.
Go get them.
Runner is going. Throw down and out at second is Pillar.
Now, Sal Perez is as good a thrower as I've seen compared to Johnny Bench in my mind. And Johnny Bench is the guy that revolutionized the position, the Hall of Famer.
Pudge Rodriguez, I'm going to put him in that category also. For a big man, he is very quick with his catch and release and his arm. And there's no doubt he is out. That is now 18 base runners that Sal Perez has caught this year.
46% of the base stealers he's thrown out, and he is quick, accurate, with a very strong arm.
And Justin Smoak aboard on the walk. So just to wrap up the All-Star news, if you weren't with us off the top, the Blue Jays have 3, maybe 4 All-Stars. Donaldson is going, Encarnacion is going, Estrada's going. Saunders could go if he wins the last man ballot. Keep in mind, though, about Estrada, his health is not 100% right now. There's some concern about his back, and I don't think it's a given that he's going to make his start on Thursday. Had cortisone shots for the discomfort in his back on Monday, yesterday, and he's hoping to make the start Thursday. Obviously, he will be hoping to go to the All-Star game, and he's going to join Barry Davis out of the next break. We'll get an in-game interview with Marco Estrada to talk about his selection to the All-Star team. If he could not go, he's still an All-Star, but then they would name a replacement if he was not able to pitch. There's a ground ball to second, and Travis is retired. The inning finally over, but the Blue Jays score 5 times on 3 home runs and lead 6-0. Here comes the ultimate cleanup crew, brought to you by Home Hardware's exclusive line of the ultimate hard-hitting and tough-on-grime cleaning products.
Our t-shirts, I'm sure the Blue Jays are definitely going to be all over this to get him there.
Well, he's got some tough competition, but it's definitely doable. He is up against Ian Kinsler, Evan Longoria, Dustin Pedroia, and George Springer for the last spot on the American League All-Star team.
The Saunders t-shirts are supposed to be here tomorrow, and it'll be a red target with a maple leaf in the middle of it, and it says send Saunders. Vote Captain Canada. Hashtag Vote Captain Canada. You have to remember that hashtag, folks, too. So not only do you get on at bluejays.com and vote for Michael Saunders, or text to A4 to 101010, but always include that Vote Captain Canada, the hashtag.
And a swing and a miss by Tolley.
The checkered flag event is back, celebrating over 50 years of racing heritage in every Honda. Now is a great time to get into the all-new Civic.
Tough night so far for Ned Yost and the Royals. They're down 6-2 to the Blue Jays as the Jays bat in the bottom of the fourth. The Jays have hit 4 home runs in this game, including one by this guy, Ezekiel Carrera. You know, fans of every team will always look at the All-Star situation and say, yeah, but this guy should have gone. They always feel like somebody got snubbed. But, you know, Blue Jay fans would say, well, what about Sanchez? Maybe what about Osuna, who we haven't talked about yet. But, you know, by and large, I think the Blue Jays probably were treated pretty fairly to get 3 and maybe a 4th. Looking at the American League All-Star team, the pitching staff has 8 relievers on it, only 5 starters. Estrada's one of only 5 starters. There are so many great relievers in the American League. The National League is starter heavy, and you can understand why with all the years that big time starters are having over there. Keeping in mind too that every team needs to be represented, and that is a bit of a complication that can work against some very deserving people.
And that has been done, right? Stephen Vogt is with Oakland. He has made the team. And
Nunez in Minnesota.
And Minnesota has made it.
You know, because the game counts now, managers don't just take closers. They take more setup pitchers, guys who are used to coming in the middle of an inning, maybe getting a ground ball in a double play. So you see Brad Brock of the Orioles is on the team. Dellin Betances, who is not a closer, is on the team.
Look at the strikeout pitchers as relievers in the American League.
Yeah, Kelvin Herrera.
I think that's what they're thinking about. Andrew Miller.
Well, it happened a couple of years ago with Brett Cecil and Steve Delabar, where you got guys coming in the middle of the game to get you out of an inning. And you know what? And a lot of Canadian flags out there, and certainly want to show your Canadian pride by voting Michael Saunders to the All-Star game to make it 4 Blue Jays.
And they start the second half of the season out in Oakland, right? So you may as well just make a quick trip down the coast to San Diego, go a couple days early. Come a long way from the year last year where the knee injury cost him virtually the entire season.
How about that? What he played 9 games last year.
Carrera lines one into the right field corner, his second extra base hit of the night. This one's a double. He has done a nice job.
He certainly has done a nice job, and serving as a leadoff man, filling in right field for Bautista. This pitch is inside, but you see how it moves out over to the middle of the plate, and Carrera hammers it. His 7th double of the season, and you know what? He's done a great job. But the reality is the Blue Jays need Bautista back in right field for the second half.
The key to that at bat was he saw that pitch already in that sequence. It was strike 2, a fastball in the inner half. That time ripped it into right field. Here's the man of the hour, though, for the Blue Jays.
2 for 2, 2 home runs. In the first inning, a towering fly ball to center, and in the third inning, an absolutely no doubt about it rocket to left center. Good movement on that pitch. Donaldson saying, what was that?
That was a slider. Josh is padding up them stats for the All-Star game.
This is tonight the 2 home run game, the 8th time he's hit 2 in a game. He's never hit 3 in a game. He's got plenty of time left tonight.
First time since Canada Day last year that the Blue Jays have hit 4 home runs in the first 3 innings of a game. They did it against the Red Sox last year. Encarnacion, Smoke, Bautista, and then Smoke again, all homering in the first 3 innings. They've got 4 home runs tonight already. Donaldson with a couple, Carrera with 1, and Tulowitzki with a loud 3-run homer. Upstairs. 3-1. Encarnacion waiting on deck as Donaldson gives Salvador Perez a chance. Got something stuck in his eye, it looks like, and going to give him some time to work that out. Foul it off, full count.
Donaldson has really flourished since coming to the Blue Jays. The ballpark plays very well for him. He can hit it out from foul line to foul line. He has cut his swing down. A lot of his RBIs have come from center and right in this recent hot stretch.
Grounded back to the mound. They've got the runner hung up between second and third. Carrera now with a rundown. Donaldson is on his way to second. And Carrera stayed alive long enough to allow Donaldson to get to second base.
Fielder's choice. I am not going to write down every single number that just happened in that exchange between this ball club, but it ends up Josh Donaldson's changes places with Carrera. You got to make that ball get by you, but then he does the next best thing right here as he stays in the rundown long enough as Donaldson trots into second base after the tag to Carrera.
So 2 down. Donaldson at second, and the batter is Encarnacion, who has struck out and singled and scored. 6 runs on 9 hits for the Blue Jays, 2 runs, 3 hits for the Royals. The Blue Jays trying to make it 2 in a row over Kansas City. And again, when you look at the standings, if you look at the wild card race and you see where Kansas City is, you see where Detroit is, the Tigers coming in later on this week. This is a big week for the Blue Jays. Entering play tonight, they hold down the second wild card spot. They're a half game back of the Red Sox, who have the first wild card spot right now. But then there are a whole bunch of teams right on their heels. The Astros and Tigers are a game back of the Blue Jays. The Royals a game and a half. And the Mariners and the White Sox, who have gotten hot, they're 2 games back of the Blue Jays.
And they're hitting at the right time. Blue Jays are hitting offensively, scoring runs and buckets. Playing these wild card teams head to head. They're done with the White Sox this year, but they'll have games coming up with the Astros, a home and home with the Astros. Seattle, we haven't seen the Mariners yet this season. This is the first time we've seen the Royals. We will finish up with them the first week of August. So a chance to do something in the standings. The Baltimore Orioles have gone into a little bit of a slump.
Yeah, Blue Jays only 2.5 out of first right now. A broken bat flare to shallow right field. It's going to drop for a base hit, and this will score a run. RBI number 77 for the major league leader in that category, Edwin Encarnacion.
And that's why Carrera got himself into that pickle long enough to get Donaldson into scoring position and let Edwin Encarnacion do his thing. That just shattered the bat. Chien-Ming Wong's got a good sinker, this time right off the handle, and he just fights it off strong enough to get it into the outfield. We talked about him in the opening that no one has driven in more runs in baseball than Encarnacion since June the 1st, and he gets another one right here with a 2-out hit.
Donaldson scoring on the play. Not only is Encarnacion the major league leader in RBIs, he's 11 ahead of anybody else. David Ortiz and Nolan Arenado each have 66. That's 77 now for Encarnacion.
And Donaldson scoring that run. Now he's scored 3 runs tonight. He has scored 76 runs. He leads the American League in that category.
Bouncing ball to second off the bat of Saunders, and that's the inning. But the Blue Jays get another, now lead 7-2 at the end of 4. Time on the disabled list right now. Hard to argue the credentials of any of the 3 who were chosen.
Jose, 6 straight years that streak will be broken.
Here's Troy Tulowitzki, who's been playing like an all-star over the last 3 weeks, including another big home run tonight, a 3-run shot. His 7th in his last 14 games, his 15th on the season. His numbers, as we mentioned earlier, starting to really round into form right now and look much more Tulo-like. And it's starting to feel a little bit, even with Bautista on the DL, starting to feel a little bit like 2015 right now, the way they're swinging the bats.
When you look at Donaldson and Encarnacion, now Tulowitzki's getting into the act. Russell Martin's been picking it up, and then you get Bautista for the second half. Everything should be good offensively for this team. And I know Carrera hit a home run tonight. Barney and Carrera you know, their extra players have done a terrific job, but you need Bautista back in this lineup.
Yeah, he's an everyday player. He's done it at the big league level. This is what Tulo has done tonight. Last time up, 3-run home run. But you're right. You get the depth of that lineup, and they've been waiting for the offense to catch up to what the pitching has done so far this season. And maybe on this homestand, we're starting to see that. You know what they've done on this homestand is they've put together some big innings. They've got a 5-run third inning tonight. We saw an 8-run inning earlier this homestand. I think there was a 5-run inning last night for the Blue Jays.
Not everybody knows they don't have to carry the load themselves. So many guys are swinging the bats right now. Swing and a miss, and Tulowitzki strikes out.
This Blue Jays Rogers 4K broadcast is powered by the Samsung 4K SUHD TV.
Bottom of the 5th at Rogers Center. Dan Schulman, Buck Martinez, Pat Tabler. A 7-2 lead for the Blue Jays over the Royals. They've hit 4 home runs in this game. The Blue Jays have. Kevin Pillar has grounded out. He's also singled and then was thrown out trying to steal. Got jammed just a bit. Fly ball to left field. 2 down.
Pat, you mentioned the Blue Jays scoring 5 runs an inning tonight in the 3rd inning. Another 5-run inning. It's the 13th time they have scored 5 or more runs in an inning this season. And that was a common occurrence last year after Tulowitzki joined the Blue Jays at the end of July. And they put together a 43-18 second half of the season, and that catapulted them to the division title.
Base hits combining with the walks and then hits. They just kept pounding down those pitchers. Dustin Smoke pounded out a pitcher the other day with his 9th home run.
He's got a base hit and a walk tonight. The base hit a pop-up, really, that with the shift on fell between the third baseman Cuthbert and the left fielder Gordon. The shortstop Escobar could not get there. And they've got the shift on again. The numbers say that he's a pull hitter, so they'll keep it on.
He told me something interesting today around the batting cage about that home run. He hit it off of Chris Jimenez, the catcher who came in that big game the other day, and he said he went back and got his heavier bat. He said, I wanted a bigger bat so I can stay back, and if I did connect on it, it would go a little bit further. Wouldn't you know it, he hit a home run, number 9, second deck shot here.
His teammates gave him a rough time when he got back to the dugout. Nobody stood up and congratulated him. At the time he got that hit, he was 0 for 5 in the game. The Blue Jays had scored a ton of runs and totaled 18 hits. His home run was the 17th run of the game. He needed a hit.
He said, I wanted to join the hit parade.
1-2, and a good pitch by Wong. Comes back over the inside corner for strike 3 called, and that will end the inning. 5 completed. Rogers Center, 7-2 Blue Jays.
San Diego regardless, though?
Oh, of course. You have to. You know, it's a huge honor. You know, I want to be there, and I do want to pitch, so we'll see what happens. I know you have a lot of family out that way. What a fantastic birthday for you. Thanks again for doing this, and congratulations, Marco. Thanks, Barry.
All right, Marco Estrada, first-time All-Star. Back to you guys in the booth.
At the age of 33, that's a pretty good birthday, having a birthday and finding out you're going to the All-Star game and having the 2 best seasons he's had in his career the last 2 years. And it goes to show people look at things obviously other than just wins these days. He's only got 5 wins because the team has not scored for him as much as they have for some of the other starters, but a 2.93 ERA, a whip under 1, which is incredible, and as we mentioned earlier, the lowest opponent's batting average for any starting pitcher in baseball.
In the majors with guys like Kershaw and Arrieta and Sale and Marco Estrada, to me, this all began last year when he moved into the rotation. I still say the best performance by a starting pitcher in the postseason was last year in Game 5 after Kansas City had scored 14 runs, and he came out the next night to continue the Blue Jay hopes, and he shut down Kansas City dramatically.
How about the game in Texas? The must win after the Rangers won the first 2 games here. It was Marco Estrada who won that game.
He won 2 elimination games.
Yes. And They don't have this stat, okay, but they should. Weak contact. This guy has to be leading the American League in weak contact. You just don't see guys square up his stuff.
No, he has really done a terrific job, and congratulations to Marco and the other All-Stars.
Swing and a miss. Hosmer strikes out. 7 strikeouts for Dickey. One last note on Estrada. If he is not able to pitch, they will name another All-Star in his place. He's still an All-Star, but they will name somebody else in his place. As you see Hosmer going after that high knuckleball. They could name anybody.